Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You got a doorbell camera. Now you got a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
No.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Get out of my house!
Ooh, Mom's jewelry. There goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, a free doorbell camera.
Free?
One that'll actually work for you. It's not total security unless it's the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
It is the WrestleMania pre-show. Sean Stanley here with you. It is the Squared Circle Digest, the Big O Radio Show YouTube channel. It is WrestleMania Saturday night. Sitting here watching the 2-hour kickoff. And right now they're interviewing the New Day. They will be in action later on tonight. They'll be taking on Ridge Holland and Sheamus. That match has been changed around a little bit. It was originally, I was told, Butch in there, and now it's Ridge Holland in there as well. But I'm going to go through the card and give you my predictions on who I think will be walking out of WrestleMania with the gold and the victories tonight. I think I'm going to try to go in order. I'm even going to try to predict the way the matches will go in order at WrestleMania here tonight. I believe it's going to kick off with Ronda Rousey against Charlotte Flair. And again, this is the one, this is really a toss-up here. You've got Charlotte Flair, who is got all the gold, all the glitz, all the glamour. She is a Flair. You got Ronda Rousey returning after a long layover. She did win the Royal Rumble. The only thing that gets me in this, when I look at this match, is that you've got Ronda Rousey, who, is she a part-timer? A full-timer? If she's a full-timer, Ronda Rousey walks out of WrestleMania your new SmackDown Women's Champion. So I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Ronda Rousey wins the SmackDown Women's title tonight and will leave WrestleMania with the title. The second match I'm going to predict is going to be New Day against Sheamus and Ridge Holland. And in this match, I believe New Day going to pick up the victory again. They'll probably play out the story of, hey, David Triana, what's up, buddy? Talking a little WrestleMania here. We got the pre-show. We're going to go off of the air at about 7:45. Give it a couple minutes to get ready, and the show kicks off at 8 o'clock. Going to have New Day, which is Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods now. Apparently the King Woods is gone already. The gimmick is gone. I'm going to go back, and I think Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods win this match just due to the fact that they're going to be there to avenge the injury that was handed out to Big E. That's kind of been a story. They've kind of built on that a little bit. So I think ultimately here is the payoff for that. Third match of the night, I believe, will end up being The Miz and Logan Paul against the Mysterios. I believe Logan Paul leaves the Miz in the ring. Mysterios get a double 619 on Miz. It pins Miz, and I believe you'll see Logan Paul leave the Miz, and it just seems like everything is gearing toward that way. You watched Miz get beat up on Raw, or as I'm talking this out right now, I'm thinking maybe the Miz turns around because of what happened on Raw, Logan Paul watching him get his ass kicked, and leaves Logan Paul to get his ass kicked tonight by the Mysterios. But one way or the other, the Mysterios will leave WrestleMania with the win. I think it's going to be Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin. After that, this match I can really give two drizzling craps about right now. It's Drew McIntyre is going to win this match. I love both guys. I'm just tired of watching this over and over and over. You've stolen the sword twice. Drew McIntyre's gotten it back twice. They did this thing on SmackDown last night. To me, that was just dumb. it's been overbuilt. It's been ran over. It's been buried. This match to me does not mean much. So for me right now, Drew McIntyre gets the win and will be probably pushed after this. But ultimately, again, I think Happy Corbin will rebound, but Drew McIntyre gets the win tonight. I believe after that, you're going to get Becky Lynch and Bianca. And originally, if you would have asked me who was going to win this match, I would have told you Bianca Belair all day and twice on Saturday. But with what happened Saturday night, and actually they're playing the Big E vignettes now during the build-up to the Kofi Kingston Xavier Woods match. So again, I think ultimately you're going to see that get done. But back to what I was discussing with Becky Lynch and Bianca. On Monday night, Becky Lynch comes in to cut Bianca Belair's hair. Bianca thwarts the attack, ends up getting the scissors and cuts Becky Lynch's hair. At that point, I think this whole feud kind of shifted. And most of the time, yes, WrestleMania ends feuds. You roll back over on Raw and you start fresh. It's kind of like the Super Bowl. Everything's building up to WrestleMania. You get your finish, and then now you move on to your next program. I think with Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair, things have elevated. And I think you see Becky Lynch cheat tonight and end up stealing a victory from Bianca Belair. And then you'll start seeing a build-up to a match. I don't know if it's going to be, I think it'll be probably the next pay-per-view, maybe the pay-per-view after that. You'll see Bianca Belair, I believe, put the ponytail, the braid, the tail on the line to take on Becky Lynch for the title. Because, again, Becky will be like, you'll get no more chances because I just beat you again at WrestleMania. I beat you in 26 seconds at SummerSlam. No more chances for you. But because she did what she did to Becky's hair, she throws out the ponytail versus the title. Becky accepts, and then Bianca Belair will end up your Raw Women's Champion. But I think tonight that title will go to Becky Lynch. The next match, I believe, is going to end up being the SmackDown Tag Team titles, the Usos against Nakamura and Boogs. Now, again, this could move up a little bit in the card, but ultimately, I think it'll be back closer toward the end because of the bloodline, the angle they're running with Roman Reigns and the Usos, and also I think Nakamura and Boogs, their entrance. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see how they do their entrance at WrestleMania, which again, they always have those crazy entrances. So ultimately, I think the build up to this, you're going to see them later on in the card. And ultimately, because of my thought process with Roman Reigns tomorrow night, I believe the Usos lose the titles tonight to Nakamura and Edge. I believe you will see them drop the titles tonight, and then you'll see Roman Reigns possibly end up with the title on I believe he's going to end up with the title tomorrow night at WrestleMania Sunday. The match I'm really looking forward to tonight is Edge and AJ. That's actually tomorrow night. They're going to have Edge and AJ are actually tomorrow night. Super excited for this one also. Bianca versus Jade. Yeah. Jade Cargill is a little bit, she needs a little bit more seasoning, but she's got the it factor. She has it. And then it's going to be interesting to see as that gets elevated more and she gets elevated more and get ring time with, some the talent she's getting it right now. It's building her. She's more than confident in herself. So that's part of the process, but now it's getting that speed, making it, very fluid in the ring. That's the part she's got to get. But other than that, she's got everything else. Steve Chapman says, hey, Sean, I think Ronda Charlotte match is going to be the best match tonight. I think they have great chemistry and have built up an unbelievable rivalry. I'm sorry. No, 100%. And I Steve, we've talked about this is I love the feud. I love everything that has gone into this feud. The problem I have is that I believe they overworked the feud on SmackDown by having them, touch and fight each other in the back. They lost me a little bit. This week, the promos they cut on each other. Ronda kind of also looks very disconnected to me. And again, I know her interviewing style is very dry. She's very to the point, but it almost feels like, okay, I'm just here to do my job and I'm going to fight Charlotte Flair and I'm going to win the title. And, it's just, she's so dry that I don't know whether it's not a good promo or if she's just ready, just doesn't want to be there, in a way. It's just that feeling I get. But, you're right. They have great chemistry. The problem also I worry about is, I mean, we've watched it on SmackDown and they do some stuff where you're like, oh, the cringe. You cringe on some of the things they do. And now you're on the biggest stage of them all. And if they are opening WrestleMania, again, you want to prove why you're, why you're on first, and then you go back to the back and like, hey, beat that now. What do they put their bodies through on this night? So that's going to be one of the end the thing there. Bro Talk says, I just missed the old WWF back in the day during the 90s. During the 80s. What's funny is I went back and I looked at some of the WrestleMania cards. WrestleMania 1, I was like, really? It was like your basic card that you would go to a live event back in those days, like SD Jones, taking on somebody. That was the first match that opened WrestleMania 1. And it's like, it's like now you look at that and you're like, I'm complaining about some of the matches that are on here tonight. And those matches are 20 times better than what it is. But ultimately, I mean, the storytelling and the character development and everything in the 80s was top notch. And that, I think that's what drove, everybody to what wrestling became in the 90s and the 2000s. That was the base of, what wrestling became. You threw out Hulk Hogan and everything else there. You had those larger than life athletes. And then you slowly started evolving into the more athletic guys, your technicians like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. I mean, it goes on and on. Then you bring in Stone Cold Steve Austin. You talk about The Undertaker last night. You saw him on this thing. Again, what I find so funny is WCW told Mark Calloway, nobody will pay money to see you. Eric Bischoff told Stone Cold, nobody's going to pay money to see black boots and black trunks wrestle. It's just like sometimes, and man, Eric Bischoff is that's probably one of the things that he missed the worst, I guess, when you look back on it. Again, that's the story that I've heard, but if that is, how it went down, Stone Cold always said he got fired. I think, what was it, by UPS, I believe. They sent him the thing, and it was probably the best thing that happened to him. He ended up going over here. And again, he came into a thing called the Ringmaster, and man, it was not him. You could tell he was not happy with that gimmick. And then he worked into the Stone Cold gimmick, and the rest from the 80s, the 90s, and it took off during the Attitude Era. Mikey says, what's up, Sean? I'm with you. Ron needs work on the mic. Yeah. I mean, I think it's more of the fact that, again, she's a legit badass. I mean, honestly, yeah, she's taking her lumps in the UFC, after a while, but look at the run she was on. They took the bronze medal in the Olympics in judo, and then what she did in the UFC. Of course, after, what happened to her career from there, I just don't know that she can turn that off, that Ronda Rousey off. You got your guys that can talk, Colby Covington, Masvidal, Nate Diaz, again, you got to kind of probably censor Nate Diaz, but again, those guys can talk. Ronda Rousey went in there and just did it. That's what she's always let her actions kind of dictate where she is in the business there. But she's gonna have to work on that mic if she's gonna be full time now. If she's gonna be a part time and show up every once in a while, she can cut those promos she cuts now, because you can be dry and just say, hey, I'm coming in, I'm gonna break your arm, snap it in two, and hand it back to you, and the crowd's going to pop for it, and she can leave. But if she's going to be there full time, this is one of the things where she's going to have to work on it, unless they turn her heel again. Now, when she turns heel, I think that mic work can work, because you don't have to be, all, hyping up the crowd and get the crowd behind you. You can just kind of speak, which I think makes her a better heel in that aspect of things. David Triana says a guy that I didn't think I'd like as a heel as much as I do is Austin Theory. Dude is great, and the heat between him and Pat McAfee is really fun to watch. Yeah, no, I mean, you know what it is he's that guy that, he's the perfect antagonist, especially for what Pat McAfee, what they're doing here. You just want to watch him get his ass whooped, right? Every time he comes out and he takes a selfie and everything else. And if you follow him on Instagram, it's great because you see the stuff in the ring and then you see him posted and all that stuff. The stuff he did with Jeff Hardy when he first came out. He's the perfect antagonist. He's the guy you want to watch him get his ass kicked by Pat McAfee, and we'll see how it goes down tonight or tomorrow night. They are also on Sunday night. Tonight, the other match that interests me is the Seth Rollins against the to be announced. Again, the to be announced, everybody is geared toward it being Cody Rhodes. And if it is Cody Rhodes, the one thing that I wonder is this, okay? And follow me here because I know most of you might not follow WWE on a day-to-day basis or maybe not at all and haven't seen the product in a while. Vince McMahon has been off TV. Now, all of a sudden, he's kind of come back with Austin Theory. Austin Theory is kind of his hand-picked guy. He hand-picked Austin Theory to take on. He kind of went on the McAfee show, the first interview he's done in like 15 years, invites him to be at WrestleMania, and he said, I'm going to hand-pick your opponent that you're going to fight at WrestleMania. McAfee ends up finding out that's going to be Austin Theory. Seth Rollins, no opponent for WrestleMania, does all this stuff. Finally, they cut the vignette before Raw on Monday, and he comes into Vince McMahon's office, and Vince McMahon says, hey, you're going to be at WrestleMania. We got your opponent, but you won't know who it is. I'll hand pick your opponent, and you'll find out when his name is introduced at WrestleMania. Everybody believes that's Cody Rhodes. What if on Monday night there's a new faction started by Vince McMahon, and it's Cody Rhodes and Austin Theory? Go along with me here. And then maybe you throw in a tag team. I don't know what tag team yet. Haven't really thought that far on it all. But now you've got two guys that Vince McMahon handpicked for his opponents. And to me, it would be to me, that would be one of the things to kind of put the icing on the cake for Vince and with him bringing back Cody. The pay-per-view, if you have Peacock, you can pay $4.99 and get the pay-per-view. If you don't, I'm not sure what it is. I have Peacock. I get the WWE Network, and right now I'm watching it. I pay, I think it's $4.99 a month for the Peacock subscription, and I watch the pay-per-views basically for that price, and no commercials. Steve, I don't know about DirecTV, man. I'm sorry. I don't have that information on. I'll try to look it up here before I go off, but I don't have that right here handy. Steve says, Cody Rhodes seems too obvious to me. I think there'll be somebody else. Having said that, I know you're much in tune with what's going on in wrestling. Yeah, and again, I'm going off a lot of what was being said because with, Cody wasn't happy in his situation. Supposedly he had signed a contract 3 weeks ago. There were some rumors that he kind of backed out. I just think that was kind of to squash the rumors. I know internally WWE on Raw has Cody Rhodes listed as being there. Now, could WWE pull the rug out from underneath everybody and say, hey, look, everybody expects it to be Cody. Let's do. Because again, at the end of Undertaker's speech, and my daughter is watched it and was like, oh, I think he's going to be Seth Rollins' opponent, because at the end he goes to walk away, then he walks back up and he puts the jacket on, and then he puts his hat on and he says, never say never. And because they were talking about one more match, and then he said, never say never. And that's kind of how he ended his speech. And my daughter was dead set on that is who is going to be Seth Rollins' opponent. Could it be? 100%. But again, that's probably something that happened because of all the rumors of Cody. Here's one of the other things that was interesting to me. WWE Shop. They have a Legends area. There's 7 shirts in that area. 7 shirts. It is 2 Bobby Heenan, 3 Bruno Sammartinos, and just added this week 2 Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes shirts. Just added to that part of WWE Shop. I believe Cody owns everything in the Dusty Rhodes library. He's doing a documentary on his father. So, ultimately, and that's coming out soon, I believe, actually, too. Let's see. Steven Gonzalez says, or Steve said that would be unreal. It would be nostalgic wise, but also I don't know. Again, does he come in? He just chokeslams Seth and leaves him laying, and then Seth comes out on Monday and does all the thing, and then maybe Cody comes out then. Again, there's so much. Again, and a lot of times this is what happens, though. As fans, we get this thing built up, and then when the WWE doesn't do what we've thought in our mind, all of a sudden it's like, oh, WWE screwed us again. Well, no, WWE just said it's TBA. It's TBA and a shadow there. They never said it was Cody. Never said it was going to be The Undertaker. They never said it was going to be Shane McMahon. They never said it was going to be anybody. They said TBA. That's what they advertised. But again, as wrestling fans, we sit there and, as matchmakers, we're like, oh, this would be perfect to do this and do this and then lead into that. And then when WWE doesn't do it, they're like, oh, WWE screwed us again. I knew it. I knew they were going to do it to us again. They got us to order the pay-per-view to watch it. And at no point did they let everything run wild. They did the same thing with Brock Lesnar at MSG. And it ended up being, what was it, Austin Theory? And everybody was pissed. Let's see here. We got AKW Beach. Yo. Stevie Zoss. Sweet. I want a Dusty shirt. Yeah, no, definitely, man. There's some good ones, man. They're the old ones. They got the American Dream one, like these little Bunkhouse Stampede days. And they're the they're not the polka dot Dusty. They're not the WWE Dusty. They're the actual real thing. Miami Sports Fanatics. What's going on, Sean? Guys, smash that like button. Subscribe, please. Sean is phenomenal. Thank you, my man. And also make sure to catch the Big O Show, all your South Florida sports news out there. Yeah, he actually did a show earlier today, too. He went on a little bit earlier today, and I think he was on while the Devontae Parker trade went down. So make sure you catch that. I know he just tweeted out, I believe, there. I think I just retweeted it out. And so that and a lot of things coming up on videos will be posted later today. Right now, we are about 4 minutes away. I'm going to be on for about 4 more minutes. I'm going off about 15 minutes prior. 8 o'clock, the show goes live. Steven Gonzalez, Sean is a badass. You rock. Nah, man, you guys rock. I'm just lucky enough to be along this ride, man. Some of the matches is Seth Rollins versus TBA. TBA is going to take that match. And then the KO show, which I am very, very interested to see how they work this out, because again, they have worked it up where KO went out during fan access and spray painted over Stone Cold, Owens 316, and it says, what is it? Arrive, stun, leave, stun everybody, leave, and Kevin Owens spray painted out and said, "Get stunned, leave." So going to be interested to see. Yeah, actually, you know what? They did David Triana. They did a thing with AMC, but I didn't see which theaters were going to have it. I don't know if every AMC theater is going to have it, but they made a deal where it's going to be in the movie theaters. It kind of takes me back to, and again, this is WrestleMania 1. WrestleMania 1 I saw on closed circuit TV at the Hollywood Sportatorium. That is where I went to watch WrestleMania 1. And oh man, it was the greatest thing. It was awesome to sit there and you buy a seat and you watch a movie screen with I think there was like 10,000 other people, and we were cheering and screaming and everything else. Let's see, he's a good player, but it's yeah. And then they traded. I thought they got a pretty good return too. I mean, better than what I thought they were going to get for him. And I'm talking about Devontae Parker. Yeah, 8 o'clock Eastern is the kickoff for WrestleMania. Sean, who you have, Austin? I mean, it's not really a match, but I think ultimately Austin's coming out to just stunner him, drink some beer, stun again, drink some beer, stun again, and then everybody can go home happy I believe they're ending the show with Stone Cold. So again, that will send the whole crowd home. Happy night one. And night one, to me, a little light on the matches, the meaning of the matches. When you look at night two, you've got, I'm interested in the Johnny Knoxville. We'll dive into that tomorrow's pre-show. But to me, a lot of the more meaningful matches, there's Ronda, Charlotte on this. You got Seth, depending what happens there. But other than that, a lot of matches here that I could kind of, if I see it, I see it. If I don't, it's, again, that's why Stone Cold not probably. They said he's going to be in the main event. So again, they're going to make everybody stick around before they get to see 316. This is Austin written all over it. His last hurrah, the legend showing up, the Young Bucks, so that a rematch can take place, and that'd be huge. I don't know what Austin's physical limitations are anymore with his neck and everything else. I don't know that he could go. I don't think he could go anymore. But ultimately, as you're saying, as you just said right there, once that glass breaks, dude, it's over. I mean, look at what happened at the Undertaker's, speech last night. It was about 12 to 15 minutes of just Undertaker standing at the podium, just soaking it in, man. You don't think Austin, and it's going to be interesting to see how this works. Because again, it's a KO show, which means it's going to be, set up for Kevin Owens to introduce him. He's going to get the long walk down the aisle, because at WrestleMania, it's always a long stage. So he'll get that. Or does he drive the ATV out there? He brings back the little ATV and everything there, and then ultimately, he's going to get to soak it in. Does Kevin Owens ruin that chance, that opportunity for Austin to get that WrestleMania soaking it in at the beginning, and then ultimately he gets stunned. They do their little thing. He get, stun Kevin Owens, and then he gets, all the praise and everything that he deserves. And again, sends everybody home happy. Steven Gonzalez, whatever happened to Dean Ambrose, missed that guy. He is John Moxley. He's in AEW now. And he is also the GCW Game Changer Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. He fought a couple times this weekend, and he retained the title. And you can watch him on Wednesday nights and Friday nights as John Moxley. That's Jon Moxley. All right, guys, man. Hope you've, if you haven't ordered it yet, if you don't have Peacock, I would man, come on, $4.99. Pay it this month. Don't pay it next month. You get 2 nights of WrestleMania. Make it happen. Look forward to the show. That'll be good. Catch up with you later. Also, possibly, depending on how tonight goes, a recap will happen as soon as WrestleMania goes off the air. And I may have a special guest. Still working on it. But if you're ready, everybody get your beers ready. There's going to be a beer bath tonight. I can tell you that right now. Make sure you get your Peacock ordered. If you don't have it yet, $4.99. Just do the minimum. Get that bad boy. Cut it off next month. Enjoy WrestleMania 38 Saturday night. We'll see you for the recap as soon as WrestleMania goes off the air. And, of course, the pre-show again tomorrow night. Enjoy WrestleMania, everybody. Because you know what? I will.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.